And I know our new grads are actually on the cusp of applying for jobs. Do you have any advice for them?
Well, there's the New Start grants in Ontario, which is very helpful, and the rest of everybody else, including the New Start people, I think one of the things you want to look for is a long-term position, and so I would ask that in the job interviews. The other thing that I would be paying attention to is the workload. How many patients are you going to be expected to see a day or per hour? And the other thing is if you will be given any administration time, because the charting and the paperwork piles up more than you realize before you take your first job. And it's very helpful if into your initial contract you can get half a day or a day dedicated to getting that done. Otherwise, you're going to end up taking it home and doing it on hours you're not paid for. Those would be, I think, the things that I would look for to help you make sure that you get a job you like. In terms of just finding available jobs, that's networking. It really is networking. And you've said this, Anne, on your blog. We've repeated it many times. The leaders of our programs in the country also say this again and again. The key is advocacy for yourself and networking. And one of the things within self-advocacy is to make sure that you're not just going out saying, I'm looking for a job. You have to go out and make yourself useful to somebody else for nothing in return. And that's what's going to make people start to go, okay, you're actually a very vigilant person. You're somebody that I want my practice to be associated with. And then they will start to create the job openings for you once you meet those right people. So how do you advocate for yourself? Then that would be, I guess, the next conundrum is how do you do that? The first place to start are the places you rotated. Where's the best experience you had, where you had the best connection with the physicians or the best connection with the administrative staff. And go back and ask how they're doing. Even before you finish the rotation, you can ask if they have any interest and let them know that, you know, there are resources out there to help them get funding and to help them get approval. So that's the first place to start. If that doesn't work for you, I think the next place to start is anyone else you know. So if you have friends of the family that are physicians or work in hospitals, it might not just be asking them for a job. It might just be saying, do you know anybody looking? Or is there something I could do that would help? Anything. If you can, the other thing is conferences. If you can invest in the conference and go to either a conference or a CME locally, they don't have to be big, expensive ones. Just the local ones. You're going to increase your knowledge and you can network. You can go around. People are there to network. That's why people are there. They're there for the CME and to meet other people. So that, and you can find, I think you will find a job through doing all of that.
That's very interesting that you say that because I reached out to a doctor in Toronto because I was interested in getting some more exposure to some community physiatry. I was not looking for a job. I explained what I was and that, you know, through a cousin that had known that was also a physiatrist but had just started working so he didn't have his practice. Just the act of reaching out and saying, like, I don't really have any ulterior motives. I just want exposure to medicine. I heard your practice is really great. Would you mind like a half day? You know, let me know what would go. And then he started talking to me about job opportunities and this idea of working with a PA. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. I'm not looking currently. So it was a really interesting way because I think it's very different when you sort of show your proof rather than having this big ask and sort of expecting, you know.
Right.
It's not entitlement, I would say. It's a very different way to have conversations and to sell yourself. Like rather than, you know, going in and being like, I need this salary, this, and this, these are my work duties. Right. It's having conversations, creating value, and building relationships. And I think that that's what networking is. It
is, exactly. People don't want you to sell yourself. They just want to know who you are.
Yeah.
And through getting to know who you are, you will find the opportunity.